First of all, absolute pleasure. The Majority Report did a segment about Adam Carolla. I think he was on Fox News, talking about a man who boarded a plane wearing a thong over his face, and that's a face covering. That is a face covering, and he's trying to make it. That's not an original point. People have done this before. In fact, I think John Gruden did this. But yeah, when you examine what a mask is, does that not make the cuts? Well, they made the guy get off the plane. The Majority Report, they lost their minds over what Carolla said. They lost their minds.
Adam Carolla and Will Cain were having a bit of a chat on Fox News. I'm going into this clip cold.
I will say this Majority Report lady, she does have good taste in clothing. I appreciate her for that. I like the sweater.
But I guess they're trying to, I see now. They're trying to play the hits of ripping on Rosie O'Donnell, because that's how Donald Trump got, got his start with his public misogyny in many ways. Here he is, comedian Adam Carolla with Will Cain.
It looks like there's a new dress code for the friendly skies. A Florida man was recently kicked off of his flight, Adam, for wearing, instead of a mask, a woman's thong over his face. The cheeky move was part of a protest, of course, of these federal mask mandates. And the man insisted the underwear covered his nose and mouth, but the flight crew wasn't having it. I don't know what the rules are there, Adam. I mean, is there a specific type of mask I have to wear? If my face is covered, what's the problem?
Can you pause it for a sec?
What?
This guy who wore the thong thinks he's really funny. And then this is the kind of like triggering the libs thing that is, it's basically like a 13-year-old's inside joke with his friends.
Yeah, which is very sad to say as you look at how old Adam Carolla looks.
So Adam Carolla makes a sexual joke about a Fox News anchor. And so you heard what he said. He said how old Adam Carolla looks. So if you're at a certain age, you can no longer think about sex. You should take a pill just to castrate yourself. That's very puritanical.
But continue, Bradley.
Yeah.
I don't know what the rules are there, Adam. I mean, is there a specific type of mask I have to wear? If my face is covered, what's the problem?
Well, my question is whose thong was it? If that was Rosie O'Donnell's thong, then the flight must be stopped. But I don't know, Dana Perina's thong. Well, now it's a completely different kettle of fish. So sorry to hit too close to home. But no, here's my point. If that guy said he was transitioning and was a man becoming a woman, and he put the thong on and just wore the thong around his waist onto the plane, the left would be defending him vehemently right now.
Will Cain, you going to stand up for your colleague there? No, guess not. You're just going to laugh as the guest on your program makes a joke about wanting to sniff her underwear.
I mean, that
solidarity at Fox News, I'd imagine it's quite high.
The most base level of like the Rosie O'Donnell's on that is.
Has she even been in public life for like 15 years?
Exactly, bro.
Rest,
like,
dude.
are you in some cryogenic like frozen beer chamber that you get unfrozen out of once every like 5 years to make an observation?
Yeah.
And then, to be fair, the gross discussion of Dana Perino's underwear is probably the only thing that is on brand for Adam Carolla there.
In what way?
I mean, that's like what he brings, right? Like the women jumping on trampolines.
And so I used to be a big Adam Carolla fan. I used to listen to him on Loveline like every night. I watched the TV show Loveline. The man's show was okay. He had a show on Comedy Central that was great. And then I started listening to his podcast when it first came out. I was a big fan, but slowly over the years I became turned off by him, just his politics and his anger. He was angry all the time, and he would rarely joke anymore. He's supposed to be a comedian, right? But he wouldn't. So this is actually the Adam Carolla that I like, the one that would joke, have a good time. This is the guy that I really started liking in the 90s when I started watching Loveline and then found the radio show. But yeah, he's a conservative, and it basically, he kept making the point where he very entrenched in elitism is the feeling that you got, and it's almost like he was telling his viewers, "Hey, you're not as good as me. Don't even try. I deserve all this money. You don't deserve it. Some people are smarter than others." That was, at least when I was listening to him, and I listened to him for a very long time. That was kind of like the core of his belief system. And every once in a while, I'll go and, like, maybe once a year, I'll go listen and just to see where he's at. And actually, I root for his failure. I believe his ratings have drastically dropped in terms of podcasts, and I root for that. I love that. But the guy's making a joke, and so this is where the left, like, they lose a lot of people in this culture war stuff. They lose a lot of people this way. If they would just stick with the economics, could you see Richard Wolff covering a ridiculous, absurd story like this? It's beneath him. So they're very confused over there, and they don't know what comedy. If a comedian can't be, am I going to offend somebody? Like, whoa, how is it? Not every joke is offensive, but you can't be worried about offending people, or you're not going to be funny.